What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone Game Boy Color Edition. Game Boy Color. So, if you're not familiar with this is it's a little bit different. You know, we had HP3 GBA not too long ago. This is also an RPG, but it's got pixelated graphics. And most importantly, this game is really broken. So let's just kind of jump right into it, I think. All right. And my name's KonceptioN2, by the way. I didn't introduce myself. How's it going? Here we go. This is 3, 2, 1, and go. All right. So, a lot of people, I'm sure, who are watching Potterthon have probably seen a run of this game, at least in the past, if not more recently. The community for this game has grown a little bit recently. That's attributed, I think, mainly to a lot of new tech that's been found, and we finally had a record switch that has kind of like spurred more activity in the community as well. The record was held for almost 4 years. It was the longest held HP record until that was taken over a couple weeks ago, and then retaken over yesterday, actually, by myself. So yesterday we saw the first one, sub 112 of this game. And that's partially attributed to some new tech, which we'll get into in just a few minutes, because it's going to come up pretty soon. But first, it's pretty standard stuff. We're going to grab the green deck. That is going to be the one we need for the run. Alright, and then now we typically would head to Gringotts. I'm going to go ahead and grab an extra potion for safety. Going to get trolled by this NPC, because he's awful. There's some awful NPCs in the Diagon Alley area. That one's another terrible one. He almost got me. And, oh, almost got me again. Thanks to the GLs. I'm going to re-chat as much as I can as well. We're the late night crew here. We're chill. We're hanging out. So feel free if you have questions. If you want to ask anything, I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thanks for the good lucks. I appreciate that. Alright, so heading over here. Secret Wig and Weld Potion as well. So now we got 2 potions to make our fight a little bit easier here. Alright, and now Gringotts, which is the biggest reset point in the run by far. At least it's at the beginning, so we can't really complain too much. I'm actually going to safety save here, just in case things go really poorly. So the objective is to get to our first boss with no encounters if we can. If we do hit encounters, that's fine. We don't want to take damage if we can avoid it. If we take damage, it can be fine. It just makes it a little bit riskier. But after we defeat the first boss, we cannot hit an encounter, or else our very most important glitch for the run is going to be ruined. Oh yeah, see, we hit one there. Well, that's okay. Let's see if we can flee from it. So you're going to notice I'm going to save right before our first boss, and that's going to be a big safety save for us. Alright, first boss, rat boss. I call him Chuck, as in Chuck E. Cheese, because it's a purple rat. We're gonna take out the smaller rats first. Vermilius to the face. Not super lucky. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and take our first potion here, just to be safe. Alright, so small rats are down. Now we just got the big one here. Cool. Ooh, a good crit there. That's going to save us a little bit of time. And if he keeps missing, even better. Nice. We are guaranteed to 3-shot as long as this hits. Boom. Now, like I said, very important that we do not hit an encounter here. It sets up the most important glitch in the run for us. So that's why we saved. And unfortunately, the glitch is dependent on one continuous file from defeating that boss on, so we can't just save after we beat it either. So if we do hit an encounter on our way out here, we're going to have to reload and fight the boss again. What kind of Undertale is this? No Undertale. Somewhat different game, though the colors are very similar, I'll give you that. You're going to see me pause a good amount in the run. Yep. Fortunately, that was a really unfortunate location for that. But you're going to see me pause a good chunk in the run like that, which just enables it to potentially reset the location of an encounter, especially one that's right in my way, as that one was. I tried to sneak by it, but unfortunately that didn't work out for us, so we hit an encounter. Back to the boss. This game, in run especially, is a lot of RNG. A lot of RNG. That's why the record held for so long, because the RNG is just kind of brutal in this game. It's very, very grindy. Oops. Usually we can do an enemy attack skip glitch there. Ooh, we got another crit though. Which, while pressing A on certain frames, we can actually skip the boss's turn after using an item or the flee option. I unfortunately missed the frame, which I almost never do, so that was unusual, but we still beat him. That's why we take 2 potions there, to make it a little extra safe. Alright, back in the vault, and then we're going to try again to not hit any encounters. This game also has notoriously just slow text boxes. Each text box takes like 22 frames, I think. So it's very, very slow, especially compared to its next game, HP2 game for Game Boy Color, which its text boxes are almost instantaneous. See, hopefully we don't get sniped here. Sometimes encounters will just spawn almost directly on you. In reality, it's like right before you. But you can't do anything to avoid them, so we're hoping we don't do that. You're gonna notice me hugging the tops of walls a lot like this. It just shrinks Harry's head box so that there's much less of an opportunity to get hit by an encounter. Hey, we got out. Alright. Alright, 1 reset. Kind of brutal, but, you know, we take what we can get here. It's a marathon. Not everything can go well. Cool. So, we're going to head in. We're going to start shopping for our school supplies. Now we have money. We're going to purposely hug the bottom here to skip a mini conversation with a person who wants to tell us about witches and wizards cards. Then we have to do this cutscene with a shady individual. No spoilers. You guys haven't seen any Harry Potter 1 games, right? I don't think you guys have, so I won't spoil anything for you. Alright, so we get a cauldron, we get a potion bag. We're going to continue to hug that bottom wall, so we still avoid that same cutscene. Now, I mentioned some new tech that has been discovered recently. It's going to start here, so we're actually going to enter this sweet shop, grab this Witches and Wizards cards, and then buy 1 chocolate frog here, which is going to come into play a little bit later. It's going to be for performing a new glitch discovered by a community member named Sanqui called the Infinite Card Glitch, which we'll get into it a little bit later on. Alright, so we get our books. Last thing we're going to do is go shopping with our clothes, and we're actually going to buy some specific things here to set up a 3rd glitch, though this is more considered to be an Easter egg than a glitch, because it was put in the game on purpose by developers. So, alright, so we're gonna buy 3 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these, and then we're gonna go up to plain boots, buy 25 of those. That is what's gonna cause another little Easter egg that we will talk about when it gets a little bit closer. So we've got so right now we've got 3 glitches slash an Easter egg all set up to occur in the next few minutes here. So this game's broken, just in case you weren't aware. Game's very broken. Cool. So 3 glitches that we're going to be performing coming up. So the first one is the most important one, which is the frog experience glitch. That glitch is going to give us a massive amount of experience very early on to the game, to the point that we're going to level cap before we reach the castle. So we're going to set that up now. First, we're going to go to our chocolate frog and use a few of those. Then go to our folio. Use a card combo, which are designed to be used in battle. So that is what activates the glitch. That using a card combo outside of battle, like we just did, duplicates the effects of the last fight, which our last fight, if you recall, was our rat boss. So it duplicated those effects, but duplicating it on the train as we have, and then performing and talking to specific NPCs like we have, is going to cause a frog fight to occur in the lake coming up here. And defeating that frog is what's going to give us our massive amount of experience. You'll also notice that I used that chocolate frog that we bought there, but I didn't just press A to use it. I actually held left and pressed A at the same time, which lets us use it an infinite amount of times. And that is what the infinite card glitch does. So basically, every time after the first A press, it gives us 255 cards. So I just press A a few times to make sure I have enough cards, and then we have enough cards to do duplications for the rest of the run. Before, we used to have to buy 80, 90, 100 chocolate frogs and eat them all, which you can't eat them all at once, which is good, so it wasn't like terribly painful. But we would eat them all, get the cards, and then just be restricted to those that we had gotten from the frogs. Now we are virtually unrestricted, which is why we had some extra money to buy the boots near the beginning. So here's the frog that I mentioned. Frog is defeated, and now we're at level 90. We're gonna do two things here. We're gonna equip the dragon gloves, and we're gonna duplicate that same fight, so it bumps us from level 90 to level 99. Alright, now, the third glitch that I had mentioned to you. As you can see, I'm shooting owls out of the front of my ship. This is the Easter egg I talked about. We call it owl shooting. Very cleverly named. It is triggered by, I believe, having 16 boots in your inventory, which is why we buy them in Diagon Alley there. This is the Easter egg included by developers. And you're also going to notice I'm pausing here a little bit as well to for the encounters that are behind me that I can't shoot. I tried to avoid that one, but didn't happen. Not a big deal. We just run away. We're level 99 now. Things don't really matter. But yeah, the idea is that we try to shoot down encounters that are in front of us so we don't have to pause so much. It also makes the game unable to load as many enemies on the screen as it normally could because the owls are now on the screen taking up some of that data. So, if you're counting at home, that is the frog experience glitch, the infinite card glitch, and the owl shooting glitch / Easter egg all performed in the first minutes of the run. So, now we just got to make our way down here. Got a little cutscene with Hagrid here. There's actually two in this little pre-castle dungeon here. The second one we're going to skip for sure. But yeah, again, I'm just going to hug some top walls here. It shrinks our text box to basically the size of Harry's, our hitbox to basically the size of Harry's feet. Unfortunately, I did not get around that one. I thought I was going to, but we had an encounter there. All that means is that it just wastes time. That's all it does. Alright. Alright, we're gonna hug the top wall as we round the corner here, because we will walk around the trigger for a mini Hagrid cutscene there. So we just skip that altogether. And now we're at our second boss. This one should be hard. It's called the Knight. Just gonna hit it with a spell, probably do a little bit of damage. Oh wait, it's dead. Because we're level 99. Alright. Alright, and now, level 99 Harry at age 11 is inside Hogwarts for the first time. So as you can see, yes, the game, very broken. Very broken. But we have a nice little cutscene. Harry's got a swagger, for sure. And I wish I could conjure snacks myself as well, Pixel. We make that joke all the time on my stream, actually. Since we have a long cutscene here, just take a second to shout out the Harry Potter handheld speedrunning community. My favorite community to be in, hands down. Very welcoming group, very active group especially. And we are doing a lot to be able to create resources to welcome in new runners to these games. So we've got some new guides that we've written for HP1 here, and then as well as HP2 for Game Boy Color. So if you're interested in any of those games, runners or not runners or anything, feel free to ask somebody else or join our Harry Potter handheld speedrunning Discord. We're definitely able to answer your questions for you and assist you further from there. Shocker, using Gryffindor. No one saw that coming. We have one little bit of movement where we have to find the Gryffindor table. It's not very hard. Alright, and after these little cutscenes, we finally are going to be able to regain control. Alright. Alright, so up to Gryffindor. Unfortunately, we do have to make a few pit stops on the way, plus endure a fetch quest to be able to get the password to get into Gryffindor altogether. We're going to make 2 stops before that happens, though. We're basically going to be setting ourselves up a little bit for, oh geez, that NPC, for herbology by grabbing a couple of herbs early that we will need for finishing the class. First one's in McGonagall's office here, so we're just going to grab that real quick. That one's usually pretty painless. You can get, trapped a little bit with encounters there, but it's not usually too bad. Next one is going to be all the way up on the 7th floor, which we're going to take a shortcut from 2 to 5 here. Now we're on floor 5. And then we're just going to walk up the stairs to 7. 7th floor, conveniently, also where the Gryffindor common room is, as I'm sure a lot of you know. But here's our pit stop here in this classroom. This one is usually very trolly. We have to go all the way to the top of the classroom and talk to the board to get the Aconite here. Hey, we got away from that one. And then we can usually get trolled by encounters pretty bad because that's a narrow little passageway that that leads up to the board. But up we go. We have to still talk to the portrait because we cannot progress the story without doing so. And then we sadly have to go all the way back down to the ground floor for our little fetch quest. Unfortunately, what we're going to be grabbing is an old school tie for Nearly Headless Nick to keep his head on straight. Unfortunately, the tie does not spawn until after you talk to the portrait, so we can't grab it early while we're already down on the ground floor. We have to go up the top and then all the way back to the bottom. But luckily, we have a shortcut from floor 5 all the way to the dungeon to make that a little bit faster for us. Alright, it's at this gargoyle here. I am notorious in my streams and my runs of this game that I will very often forget to talk to Nearly Headless Nick to turn in this little fetch quest. So I actually have a command in my chat, !Nick, that when used says talk to Nearly Headless Nick, you idiot, because you can walk right by him. We're on 6th floor, which is where he's at. You can keep going straight across the 7th floor, but you have to go up here and talk to Nick so you can get the password. If you walk all the way up to 7th floor to the portrait, she's gonna be like, hey, you got the password? We're gonna be like, no, you don't got it. Thanks for the good luck advance, I appreciate that. Alright, but we got our password, we're moving on. You're also going to be noticing that I'm going to move diagonally as much as I can. It's the fastest way to move. Some rooms make it a little bit more difficult to do that than others, but we try our best. Alright, into the dorm. We got to go to sleep for the first time. Sleep is very important for a level 99 11-year-old boy. Alright, now the next good chunk of the game is going to be us going through our class schedule. Pretty standard for a Harry Potter game. We're going to basically be going through each class once to clear our class list. The first class we're going to do is potions, but on our way to potions, we're going to be making a pit stop. One other thing that the infinite card glitch, which was recently discovered, opens up for us beyond just having an unlimited amount of cards, is that we can use a different card combo that makes quite a few fights faster. That card combo is called Rain of Bludgers. Rain of Bludgers is a card combo that we use during a fight that is an AoE. So for fights that have multiple enemies, it makes it go by a lot faster than individually targeting and killing those enemies. So we have to go and get it there, we get it. We can only get it after we sleep, so that's why we get it on our way down to potions there. Thanks for the good luck, Steve. Welcome. And now we enter our potions class. Potions used to be a really annoying class because it used to be very RNG heavy, and it still is RNG dependent. But because we have more cards now, we can freely duplicate fights that we need to. And one of the fights that we're going to have to incur during this class is against snakes, because we're going to have to brew a potion to save poor collapsed Neville over here, which requires Boomslang Skin, Snake Fangs, and Beetle Eyes. Snake Fangs is the only one that we get from a battle drop, and we get it from fighting snakes. But they don't drop them every time. So if we fight snakes here, there's no guarantee that they'll drop them, but if they don't, we can duplicate the fight in hopes that the duplication gives us what we need. This is where the Boomslang Skin is, in Snape's office, adjacent from the classroom. Now we're just waiting for an encounter. Of course we didn't get snakes. So this is where RNG comes into play for sure. The reason why we fight snakes here is because snakes spawn more often in Snape's office than they do outside. But anytime we have two snakes as well, we're going to use that Rain of Bludgers. It's a little bit faster than killing each snake individually. So that's the first use of Rain of Bludgers there. And we did get our Snake Fangs. So 2 encounters ain't bad. So we already got 2 ingredients for our potion. We just need the third, which is 2 sets of Beetle Eyes, which are going to be outside in Hagrid's hut and, around his house there. So we got to make our way outside. This is going to be one of several trips that we make to Hagrid's hut. We go to Hagrid's hut a lot in this run. Teamed hydration station. No way. Don't need any bathroom breaks in the middle of this run. Alright. So, luckily these spawn in the same spot every time. They're at this bush. And then this bush. Boom. And now we just gotta make our way back to potions. You'll notice here on the castle grounds that our encounters are popping out. This is a nice open field, so you're a little bit less likely to hit encounters going this way, but you can always get sniped, like I said, so you're never really safe. Alright, and then back here, and then back over to potions, and then we'll be done with our first class on our class list. This day of classes that we do is also Neville's very bad day. Obviously, if you know in the story, during flying class, he breaks his wrist, which we're about to see. But he gets poisoned, he breaks his wrist, gets teased. It's not good. Oh, that's alright, Sake. You were close enough. I say it counts. That's all I care about. I think you made estimate. Thanks for the good luck, though. I appreciate that. Alright, another ingredient that we're going to do on our way to flying class is at that little pudgy bush, Dittany. And then we're going to make our way up to flying class, where we got our first of a few auto-scrollers. Though the auto-scrollers in this game are mostly really annoying. It's not just sit back and hang back, fortunately. We got to really focus. This first one is going to be chasing Draco to get the Remember All. And basically we're going to be flying behind him in a horizontal auto-scroller with a lot of bushes on trees getting in our way. And it looks easy, but it's actually really hard to dodge them. Your reaction time is very slow when you do this, so we're trying. Oh, so you're like less than a minute, if anything, or maybe add a minute. You know what? Saker did it. That's all I say. Saker did it. That was a great run. A lot of unique stuff happened in that run. I had a good time watching it, so. Oops, so we hit our first bush. Each bush we hit is going to lose us about a second. So there's 2. You can get 0. It's very difficult, but you can. I personally say anything for like 4 or under is a win. So we're at 4 now. Yeah, and they love to do that. Right when you're about to get them, they'll throw a bush in your way. So 5, a little slow, but we did it. That's certainly the most annoying of the horizontal auto-scrollers that we'll deal with. But it's over. Now we got to make our way over to Herbology class, but we're going to do one other small pit stop to further set us up. Herbology is basically what's going to happen in the class is we will get an herb guide that we're supposed to fill out and bring back when we have. And it's got, I believe it's 6 total herbs, and we're going to go into the class with 5. So we're going to grab 1 there. There's 1 in the class itself, the dried nettles. And then we go and talk. And it's triggered by Ron here. Basically, we get every ingredient besides 1, which is the mandrake root. The mandrake root will only spawn after the class is started. So we do have to go through the cutscene here. Can't just like sit and wait. We do have to go out and back in. Luckily, the mandrake root is very close by. So we're going to exit the class into this part of the garden. And there it is. Now we head back in. Everyone's mysteriously gone. Somehow they did it faster than us, I don't know. They must be speedrunners too. Unfortunately, Herbology is not done until we go talk to Snape again, who's going to give us the potion recipes for all the herbs we collected. Then Herbology will be over. Right, and he is in his office this time. There we have it. Okay, next class is Transfiguration, which is very easy. You may have noticed when we were on the lake after we had defeated the frog, I did 2 things, and the first thing I did was I went into my inventory and I equipped the gloves that we had bought. It's the only equipment we need in this run. Because we're level 99, we don't really need any buffs or anything like that. But we do need the gloves for this specific class only. And what that reason is what happens is a purple rabbit is accidentally ran away from the class, and we have to go and grab it. If we're not wearing these specific gloves that we bought at the beginning, when we go to select the rabbit, we'll have to fight the rabbit in order to obtain it. But if we're wearing these gloves, we can just pick it up without fighting. Which the rabbit is always in this little square of area here. There we go. So we skipped that purple rabbit fight and making Transfiguration one of our easier classes. Which is funny because the next class we go into is now, in my opinion, the most annoying. I used to say potions is the most annoying because you would have to sit there and sometimes grind 5 or 6 snake fights out just to get the things, but now since we can duplicate, that's a bit faster. This next one is just a memory movement game. It's a Wingardium Leviosa classic movie/book moment, but to learn the spell, which we don't use in the run at all, by the way, we have to do a memory-based game where Flitwick does certain movements, they're using the D-pad, and we have to mimic them. And it's very long and very arduous. So just enjoying the suffering here with us. Ah, thank God we're done, right? Oh, celebration, yeah, yeah. Oh no, there's a phase 2. Leviosa. Alright, now we're finally done. Celebration, yeah. Oh no, there's a phase 3. Alright, now we're actually done, thankfully. But yeah, you can mess that up. You basically get 3 attempts per phase there. If you screw them up, you have to reset the whole thing. The whole phase. But luckily, that was relatively painless, didn't miss anything. So we're going to go one floor down to floor 3 for our next class, which is Defense Against the Dark Arts. Unfortunately, Peeves... Classic Peeves throws a curse on us. You're going to see him blinking orange here. Every time I blink orange, I'm taking 1 damage. Very similar to the poison effect in Pokemon, if you're familiar. Luckily, we are Meat Shield right now at level 99. We have almost 800 hit points, so it doesn't matter. But basically, our task is to find the cure for the curse that Peeves just put on us. So we're taking a series of shortcuts here, which will basically get us to the 5th floor in the fastest possible way. We're going to go into this classroom, and then over to this television, which is a secret passage, and we're going to fight this giant who is holding onto the curse book. Now this fight usually takes 3 turns. If we get a crit, we can get it in 2. So hopefully the second hit is a crit, make it a little faster for it. It isn't, so we're going to get the standard 3-turn fight. It's pretty standard, at least we didn't get any misses. But defeating that gets our curse book. We're going to use to take the curse off of us. And using that curse book also gives us the spell Mucus Ad Nauseam, which is a poison spell. That's going to be very useful in the last 2 fights of the run, but I won't really spoil that until we get there. But now that we're done, we're basically going to go in the way we came, take this shortcut back up to floor 3, and then just walk up the stairs. Back to floor 2, rather. Walk up the stairs to floor 3. Finish the class. Nice little Dumbledore cutscene. Dumbledore comes up mainly 2 times beyond like the end cutscene. One to tell us that he really would like to see a purple rabbit when we ask him if he's seen one. And then this time to say, hey, good thing you found that curse. We should really put that in the library. Very useful stuff. So again, taking a series of shortcuts here to get us to the 4th floor now, the fastest, which is going to be for our last class, History of Magic, which is the most bonkers one in terms of concept that we do. Basically, to save you the reading, what Benz is saying is he's talking about a famous witch or wizard, and Harry recognizes the name by talking to that shady individual in Diagon Alley who wanted to give him a wizard card of that person. And Ben says, okay, you know what, that's interesting. Why don't you go to Diagon Alley to get that, talk to that mysterious individual and get that card? So I have to go take the train back. Or the skip. Luckily, we don't have to, like, you know, do anything on the train or anything like that. But, like, I'm 11 years old. I mean, you just gotta think. This is weird. You know what I mean? But basically, we talk to this individual who says the card's in the vault. We're gonna go into the vault, defeat a boss, and get the card. Boss should look pretty familiar, but it's gonna be a lot easier than last time. Back into the haunted grounds of the Gringotts dungeons here. Luckily, we don't have to go very far, and we just have to go up and beat this boss, which is a palette swap version of Chuck. Now it's going to go a lot differently this time. We're going to use that Rain of Bludgers, make this fight a lot faster. If we're real lucky, we can crit on the big rat and get it in one shot potentially. But that's like insane luck. Nope. But we take care of it in 2. Steve throwing up the Chuck emote, that's from my channel. Classic Chuck. But we get it in 2. If we actually go to use Incendio too fast there, after using Rain of Bludgers, we can actually soft lock the game pretty easily. So we actually have to take it just a fraction of a second slower than we normally would have. For whatever reason, when we use Rain of Bludgers on that fight specifically, the animation of the rat's attack skips. And yeah, we get a little swag here. We're not supposed to be moving here. And then now Harry's gonna walk through walls mysteriously. That's for you, Potterthon. Just some swag for you. You enjoy that. And we talked to him. Of course, everyone's gone because it probably took me like 3 days. But here we are. Finally, our class schedule is over. Now we can get into the meat and potatoes of the story here. The first thing, obviously, is Draco challenging us to a duel in the trophy room, which we all know is BS. But we have long cutscenes here. Now, this brings up an interesting mechanic in the game, which is the castle at night. So, almost every time the castle is dark, like it is now, because it's nighttime, there will be encounters that will now pop up on all the floors. For whatever reason, only when we're heading down here at this point, no encounters will spawn. I don't know why they chose not to at this point. Maybe they're just like, you know, first time after dark, we'll give you a reprieve. But when we head back up after this little segment, encounters will spawn there. And it's actually really, really worth playing it slow there, because if we hit an encounter, that's going to really slow our time down. If we go encounterless, it's going to set up one of our next glitches really well. Because our next glitch is set up by having our last fight be a victory, which as right now it is. Okay, so I move up into the left there to skip a mini cutscene, and I'm walking very particularly around on the edges of this room to avoid another cutscene with Filch. So basically those 2 skips there save about 30 seconds of cutscene time. So we just take that out, but we can't avoid this one, unfortunately. Yeah, so basically what's going to happen here is if I do hit an encounter, if I think it's easy to kill, I'll kill this one, and if not, then when we're going to set up the next glitch, I'll go into a classroom that has easy to kill encounters and take care of it that way. But yes, we see Fluffy for the first time, and now we have to make our way back with this long chain of individuals, and praying that we do not hit an encounter here. You're going to see me stop moving here just to see where encounters are going to spawn, like that, because then sometimes I can avoid being sniped like I was about to be. Went up a little higher than I would have liked. I had a feeling that one was going to go low for some reason. Alright, 7th floor is a bad one. In my opinion, that's where I've had a lot of them get hit. And usually once I hit this wall, I'm pretty safe. So good. We didn't have to hit any backup encounters, which is nice. Now, next segment is going to be the Halloween Troll in the Dungeon classic movie moment, right? We have 2 key skips here. One is absolutely crucial, so we're actually going to save before it, but there's one right before it, which we call Snape Skip, where there's a 20-second cutscene that occurs with Snape coming out of a room and then the troll going into the bathroom, which if we pause on the specific point where the cutscene would trigger as we crossed it, and unpause, we can skip that cutscene altogether. Saves us about 20 seconds. If we don't hit it, not a big deal, but we want to hit it. We want to be as fast as possible. This is a speedrunning marathon after all. Right now we're just talking to NPCs and progressing the story. And then after that Snape skip is going to be Troll skip. So the classic troll in the dungeon fight, we don't even do in this run. We're going to skip it all together. So I'm going to focus on these two tricks, and then I can talk a little bit more about them afterwards. Hopefully I can get them. Alright, that's Snape skip. That was done. Took 3 pauses, but at least we did it. And we're actually going to save here, because this is where we're going to do troll skip. Oop, and we missed it, so we're going to reset. This one is very important because if we have to fight the troll has the second most hit points in the entire game, which we don't want to have to deal with. So we're going to try to take that one more time. And we got it. So basically both of those skips are done by pausing specifically at the point that the transition or cutscene would take place. For Snape skip, we can just pause and unpause, and that's fine. Hermione, the troll skip is a little bit more involved. We have to go over to the right so we can see Hermione walk down from the screen like she did in the top right corner just now. If we don't see her walk down from the screen, we'll soft lock. Also, when we pause, we can't just pause and unpause. For whatever reason, we have to pause, enter our inventory menu, back out of our inventory menu, and unpause for that trick to work. If we just pause and unpause, the game will soft lock. So that's what we got. But luckily, you got to see both skips done, even if troll skip had to happen on the second one. Alright, so this is yet another walk down to Hagrid's hut. Nothing of note here, just progressing the story. Appreciate my late nighters sticking around, hanging out with me, checking out this cool run. We're definitely looking to get more and more runners here. It's a very easy run to get into. I know I'm kind of showcasing a lot of glitches and tricks here, but a lot of them are only done to save time. You can skip a lot of them, you know, at the beginning while you're learning in order to just get a run down. So we're always looking to increase the community. So if you guys are interested, feel free to reach out to me or on Discord or anything like that, and we'll get you set up with the resources. If you also visit our speedrun.com page and under guides, you'll see we have a new guide posted, as well as a video called Speedrunning Glitches, Tips, and Tricks for this run, which does all of the tricks that I use in the run with input display and explanation, so you can kind of see how it's supposed to go. This is your prime time. You're usually up for another 3 hours. I'm a late nighter too. I am a late nighter as well, so. So basically, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. What'd you get me? Hopefully it's a good marathon run. But Peeps steals our presents. Luckily, he hides them in the same spot all the time, so we just have to go over here. But as we go and grab our presents from this chest here, something an injustice happens, in my opinion. This is Christmas, and we get our presents stolen. We go to get our presents back. We get in trouble for doing so, and we lose house points when nobody is here. So I think that's unfair. Seinfeld says ho ho ho. I was trying to think of like a Santa pun with your name, but I couldn't think of one fast enough, so here we are. Now it's just back up to Gryffindor now that we have our presents, so we can progress the story. We got another long chunky cutscene here where we're just unwrapping presents, you know, getting the invisibility cloak for the first time and all that. Nope. Felt just sort of the transition there. So yeah, the world record is 1 hour and 11 minutes, and you'll notice that my estimate is 1 hour and 25 minutes, which is pretty padded. That is for quite a few reasons. One, we can get really stuck at the beginning like we did. We did have one reset, but that's not terrible, so one reset is fine. Santa Claus, that's good. But after this next segment, you're gonna see why it's extra padded, because we have some glitches that save a lot of time, but are, as of right now, RNG dependent on if they work. We're hoping to find a way to manipulate it so that they work every time, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. So, we got our invisibility cloak, which when we wear it, it just makes us look ridiculous. That's our invisibility cloak sprite. No actual cloak, just Ghost Harry. And basically what we're going to do now is head down to the restricted section of the library, which is all the way on the second floor. Another devastating thing about the castle at night, beyond there being encounters obviously, is that all of the shortcuts are locked. So we have to just walk the floors like normal, and in hopes that we don't hit encounters. Now, hitting encounters here doesn't ruin any glitches like it was going on earlier in the run. It just, you know, each encounter we hit is going to lose us about 7 seconds roughly. So we're just trying our best not to hit any. Pretty lucky so far. I tried to pause out of that one. You guys saw me, but nothing doing. Alright, and then library is just up here. But now we can enter the restricted section, and we're going to do two things, obviously. We're going to progress the story, but we're also going to come up here and grab Petrificus Totalis off the bookcase, which is going to be key for our end fights. I walked right by the trigger for some reason. Alright. Yeah, that's going to be key for our end fights here. So, up we go. If we had walked too close to our librarian friend there, if we had bumped into her, we would have had to restart this whole segment, starting from the dorm. So we cannot bump into any teachers or NPCs of any kind, really, because we're going to have to restart. So basically, we're going to go up 2 more floors. Now, if we try to go up to the 6th floor from here, you're going to notice Filch is blocking the stairway. So we have to go somewhere else, which is this hallway. So we can trigger this cutscene here. And since we're trapped, we only have one way to go, which is back. And then, you know, classic Mirror of Erised sequence. After that, luckily, all the teachers are off the floors and we can just make our way back in hopes that we don't hit any encounters on our way back. And that is why we hugged the top wall, ladies and gentlemen, because you saw it was taking up pretty much the whole hallway, but can't touch my feet. 6th floor, and then one more. Fine. Sometimes I'll just pause anyway so I can still get my optimal movement path, but didn't get it that time. But still better than hitting an encounter. Only hitting one there is pretty good. Obviously, in world record and PB attempts, we were striving for 0, but 1 is pretty good. We'll take that. Alright. Next segment is Norbert, aka Let's Walk to Hagrid's, because we're gonna make 3 separate trips to Hagrid's in this one section alone. And 2 of them are gonna start from this library. Counters actually spawn in the library too, so we try obviously to not hit them, but luckily it's during the day, all these Hagrid sequences, well, the first 2 at least, so we don't have to worry about castle floor encounters. Just library and outside. So I mentioned before, Rain of Bludgers makes a lot of fights that we do faster in the run, which was why Infinite Card Glitch was so valuable when it was found. And the main thing that it speeds up is this segment right here. So what's going to happen is Norbert is going to hatch from the egg, and Hagrid is going to say, Norbert must be hungry, Harry, can you go get him some chickens? We need 5 chickens to satisfy this request. We have to fight chicken encounters behind Hagrid's hut here, and each encounter has 3 chickens. However, when you defeat 3 chickens, you're only given 1 chicken as a reward. Basically, we have to fight 5 separate encounters of 3 chickens each. Before, what we used to do is we used to paralyze each chicken, or we used to use Petrificus to paralyze all the chickens at once, rather, I'm sorry. And then, oh my god, my movement was terrible. And then we would just take each of them out individually, hoping, of course, that they don't break out of paralysis and getting another turn to attack. Not because it's dangerous, but because it wastes time. We're gonna set up here. But now, we use Rain of Bludgers, which is a guaranteed hit. It cannot miss. It can only hit or crit. And it takes them out a lot faster. In this chicken segment, we save 30 seconds alone by using Rain of Bludgers. Steve saying Norbert please because he knows what's going to come up soon, which is one of the most pivotal yet divisive glitches in this run. You notice that I'm going to save before the chicken's there. And that is because every so often, it hasn't happened to me terribly often, but every so often, us fighting the chickens in this way, where we're basically on their spawn point, when we trigger it so fast, the game doesn't always grab it right away, thus causing the game to freeze. So that's why we save there, because I would hate for the game to freeze and us to lose all that data. Alright, so that's 2 chickens down. We got 3 more to go. This is an arduous section as well, but trust me, it is 30 seconds faster than what it used to be. Alright, that's 3 there. Alright, 4. And here is the last one. We just gotta club it with the bludgers. Alright. Yeah, before, even if we had wanted to get Rain of Bludgers, which is already available to us no matter what after we sleep in Gryffindor for the first time, we would never have enough card combos to make it worth it, because we have to use Rain of Bludgers at minimum 6 times. And before, when we bought 80 to 100 Chocolate Frogs, would be just enough to get us usually somewhere between 3 to 4 card combos total. Sometimes less, because it's random as to what cards you get when you do it that way. But because we have our infinite card glitch, that is what made this useful for us. Alright, so that's phase 1 of Norbert down. That is definitely the longest one though, so... Well, it's hopefully the longest one, I should say, because one could be longer, depending on the luck we get, which you'll see soon, but this next one is the easiest one. Starts out the same exact way. Harry and Ron and Hermione leave. Draco's watching us in the library. Then we got to go out of the library and down to Hagrid's. Same exact thing. Unfortunately, there is no shortcut. We just have to walk. Alright, you'll see it kind of move in a winding direction here. This is, one, because it's kind of the fastest way to move because he's at an awkward down but diagonal angle. But 2, I have a superstition that I think the encounters sometimes are heat-seeking us. So I try to move randomly sometimes when I can like that in order to, quote-unquote, throw the game off and not really know where I'm headed, so it can't, you know, snipe me with encounters if it doesn't know where I'm going. That is a complete superstition, and there's no evidence for that. In fact, there's probably evidence against that, but I have almost 1,200 attempts in this game, so I'll believe anything. Anyways, we have our second auto-scroller here. This one is much more forgiving. For whatever reason, Norbert gets a little speed boost in the middle of that, so we can't hit it in one cycle, quote-unquote, ever, because he gets a speed boost. So we can actually take 2 to 3 fireball hits there and still get it in the fastest possible cycle. So that's why I took a fireball there, but I didn't like freak out or anything, because it's pretty free to get it in one cycle. All right, third and final part of Norbert, which is the most important one. This time, unfortunately, we have to go all the way from Gryffindor down. So we're trying to avoid encounters as normal, but we have Hermione with us in the invisibility cloak, and having Hermione with us here actually doubles our hitbox size. So it makes it really difficult. Yeah, actually, I forgot to mention that. Darn it. Steve points out that during that Norbert segment, we are dodging fireballs, right? But Norbert is not the one shooting the fireballs, because we're trying to chase Norbert. So the fireballs come from where exactly? I don't know. So we hit one encounter here. Luckily, we can escape it. I say that because even being level 99, level capped in this game, we are still slower than a lot of enemies. So sometimes when we flee, we won't be able to. For example, those turtles are faster than us. Oh my gosh, getting absolutely sniped here. See? And, you know, I'm kind of glad we hit this one, because now you get to see the turtle animations, which is they attack from the butt. Fireballs from the butt. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway. We continue our way down. We are now setting up a very important glitch, a very divisive glitch, in the fact that it is about 25% to work at any given time. So this glitch is called lighting. This does two things for us. One, we're going to be in Hagrid's hut, which is lit up in the inside. So when we reload, and if the glitch works, the castle will be illuminated, which takes encounters off the floor. Second, it functions as a death warp. So if it's done properly, we will death warp from here all the way to the 4th floor hospital wing without having to walk up there. It is done by saving and quitting here, resetting, and then upon reset, doing a card combo. And then we just kind of have to, try our best. Nope. So when we see the Harry that is to the left of us cast a spell forward like that, that means we have soft lock. So we're gonna try again. Do I play COD? I do not. We'll try one more time, and then we'll just walk of shame it if we can't get it. Hey, we got it that time. So the reason why this glitch is 25% to work, well, actually, let's go back a step. The reason why we have to save and quit is because we have to clear out our encounter cache, basically. So, like I said, when we use a card combo like we were doing, it duplicates the last encounter we had. If it was a victory, great, we get the rewards of that victory again. If it's a flee, it's not going to really do anything. What we have to do is we have to clear it out, and then when we reload, we're going to redo it in hopes that one of our Harry gets attacked by one of the other Harrys. And if that is done, we will die no matter what damage is caused, and it will give us a death warp. However, since there's 4 Harrys on the screen, obviously we're all the same level because we're all the same person. It is RNG as to which Harry is going to get to go first. We hope it's us, but you never can be too sure. If it is us, which is the 25%, then we attack ourselves and we die. If it's one of the other Harrys, they attack forward, and then it's just a soft one. Now, unfortunately, we hit an encounter here. Ideally, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to we're going to try to not hit any encounters really going forward, any extra random encounters, because we're going to do that death warp a total of 3 times. And if we don't hit any encounters in between each attempt, we don't have to save and quit. We can just use the card combo, and it will work 100% of the time. Fortunately, we hit an encounter there, so when we're going to do it the second time, we're going to have to save and quit, and hopefully it works again. What house am I? I am a Gryffindor. And that's true. Steve points out that my current world record video, it took me 5 tries to get lighting, and I still got world record. But I was able to keep it the whole time, which I wasn't here, so it's not looking too good for us in terms of world recording, but that's not the goal. Our goal is to have fun, so. We have a cutscene here, so that's why we're hugging the right wall here. If not, then Harry slow walks over to the right wall himself anyway, so we're just cutting the distance for him. Notice how the castle is lit up, though. Right now it is dark, like it is nighttime. But the castle is illuminated because when we did the death warp, we were in Hagrid's hut, which is illuminated. And that makes it so encounters will not spawn on the floor, which it makes it a clear shot for us. You're going to notice when we step outside as well, it's going to be bright and sunny, despite it being probably like midnight or 11 p.m. in the in-universe, you know. So we're going to head down here. Obviously, we're trying to, even though we already hit an encounter in the astronomy tower, we're trying our best to not hit encounters anyway, just because we don't want to waste time. We are going to try our best. Come on, get out there. And now we're going to enter the Forbidden Forest for our detention. Now, the Forbidden Forest will be dark because the game is not programmed to have forest be at light time at all, because this is the only time we're allowed to enter the forest. So whenever we exit the forest, it will be dark again because the forest is dark. And it will always be dark by default. Steve shouts "get" because whenever I get stuck on corners and during my stream, I'm always yelling "get." All right, so we're gonna hug the top wall, talk to this tree so we get a grand pepper up potion, which is just a little safety for the end fights. Since we're level 99, we do not get the benefit of leveling up, which means that we don't get free replenishes of our health and magic in those end fights. So we do the whole end segment in one shot. So we do grab a couple of safety requirements just in case things go poorly. Of course, we get sniped here again by a turtle who is faster than a level 99 character, but again, who am I to judge? The forest is pretty hard to not hit an encounter in. As you can see, it's a lot of like narrower pathways. And how encounters work in this game is obviously they can pop up wherever a character can walk. So in the Hogwarts grounds, it's great because it's a massive open space, so they can literally pop up anywhere on the screen, basically. But whenever you're in, for example, the astronomy tower or this area, we have very narrow areas that an encounter can spawn. So it is way more likely for it to spawn snipe you than, you know, say in the grounds or on the castle floors. Yeah, so we got a cutscene here. We got to continue to make our way through the forest. Very direct path each time. If I hadn't hit an encounter already, I would be playing this a little bit more safely, hugging more top walls, maybe pausing and waiting for encounters to spawn before I move. But because I already hit an encounter, I'm just trying to get through it as fast as I can. It's still worth it, even if I hit an encounter or two. It's still worth just moving quickly. The lighting glitch is another reason why the estimate is so padded, because like you saw, it just fails for no reason. So we pad the estimate in hopes that I can try quite a few times to get the glitch to work, and if not, I can walk of shame it and still make it under estimate. Which right now we're still in decent shape to do so, so no worries. Alright, this is the last little mini cutscene of the forest. Classic moment, Voldemort's drinking the blood from the unicorn, Harry passes out from his scar pain, yada yada yada. Then we have to exit the forest the way we came, and make it into Hagrid's hut again, where we're going to save and quit and retry the lighting glitch. Ready? Yeah, the current world record, the first attempt at lighting took 5 times. Took 5 times to do, but I was very much ahead already at that point. Took 5 times to do. I lost a minute and 20 seconds, I believe, total on that split. But since I was so far ahead, I was like, yeah, I'll try it just in case I don't hit any encounters in the forest and I can keep it the whole time, which I was able to do miraculously, so it worked out. As you can see, we get sniped all the time, so it is very hard to do that. Going a long way around that because I don't like that placement at all. Alright, so last screen of the forest, and as we exit, you're going to notice that it is now dark outside. But that's because the forest is dark by default. It doesn't. Alright, so back up to Hagrid's, which we can still hit an encounter here. Luckily it popped low. Save and quit, and we're going to try again. Get those RNGs, this is going. Alright, come on, baby. There we go. Nice. Alright, so that is the second death warp we do. And like I said, it is now dark time, which means usually the secret passages are locked, but for whatever reason, when you're coming back from detentions, this detention, secret passages are not unlocked. So instead of going up the stairs, we're going to take this shortcut, which goes from floor 4 to floor 7, and we head right back into the common room. There's a visual glitch here. Again, it's supposed to be dark, so Hermione's hair looks absolutely weird right now. It's purple because it's supposed to be dark on the screen, not light. Alright, now we enter the end game. The third and final death warp is coming up soon, and again, we don't want to hit encounters before that happens, so we don't have to save and quit. The only area we can hit encounters is this little stretch from here up into the castle, so hopefully we don't hit an encounter. We usually have time for 3 to spawn. That was 1. That's 2. See 3. Didn't see it. There's a third. Alright, we're safe. So now we don't have to save and quit for the last one. It will just work automatically. This is the end game, basically. We're about to go into our teacher challenges that are protecting the Sorcerer's Stone. There's really not much left in the run. We kind of go through those in-game challenges decently fast. But first, we obviously have to go back up to Gryffindor, wait until nighttime to get this going. So we take in our shortcuts to get back up to the floor. Our third use of lighting here is very different than the first two. So we're actually not using it at all for the lighting portion, because when we activate the glitch this third time, it's going to be in a dark room, so we're not going to get the lighting effect, but it won't matter. We're going to get the death warp effect. But instead of warping us to the 4th floor for the hospital wing, for whatever reason, when you death warp here, it warps us right to the door where Fluffy is. So we don't have to walk the floors at all. We're already where we need to be. Alright, and since we did not hit an encounter, we don't have to reactivate the glitch, it works automatically. And whatever, yep, warp straight to Fluffy. No Fluffy fight in this game either. Here's our first teacher challenge, which is the Devil's Snare. So this is where we're going to get into kind of the meat and potatoes of some of our higher costing spells in terms of magic. First, what we're going to do is we're going to paralyze using Petrificus Totalis. Luckily, one casting of Petrificus Totalis poisons everyone on the field. Then we're going to Incendio the smaller branches and hope that the bigger branch does not unparalyze. If it does, we're going to have to reparalyze. Good, we got lucky. Incendio the smaller branch here. If it breaks out here, it doesn't matter because we're going to attack it next anyway. We hope for a crit because we can one-shot it. Nope. We're gonna have the standard fight as long as it hits. Nice. Alright, so that's Devil's Snare. Alright, we can hit an encounter here, which we didn't, so that's good. Now the next one is really annoying. It's our last little flying segment of the run, where we have to grab the key. And instead of a horizontal side scroller, it's a vertical scroller, though it's not auto. And it's just miserable because there are keys everywhere and they just really swat you down. So what we do is we kind of just hover to the side here in hopes that things are spawning not as far over. And this was actually a pretty good one. That's pretty good. So we just go all the way to this top of the screen, you know, taking our licks as we go up, and then we just move over to the left to grab the key. Damn, the GBC versions are awesome. Very faithful to the books. Yeah, actually, HP1 and 2 for Game Boy Color are based off the books and not the movies specifically, which is very interesting to me. Very good games. I cannot recommend them enough. But here we are, Wizard's Chess. This is a standard 3-turn fight. If we get a crit, it could be 2, but let's hope. Nope. We're gonna get our standard 3-turn. Three-turn fight. Next fight, which is against the castle chess piece, is also a 3-turn fight. Unless we get a crit, then it can be 2. And also, unfortunately, we don't actually play chess in this game. We just fight. That's Wizard's Chess. That's right. Alright, so let's hope for a crit. Come on, baby. Crit! Nope. Nice, though. Saw that damage, right? So, 3-turn fight. We use Remelius there because it does it uses less magic. And it does enough damage to kill. Nice. Alright, our last chess piece here is the King, which is a 5 to 6 turn fight, unless we get a crit. It could be a 4-turn fight, or even a 3-turn fight if we get 2 crits. Hey, that's a crit. We like that. That's a standard. That's a standard. We did get the 4-turn. Oh no, we low rolled on the last one, so he's got like 1 HP left. Darn. So it would have been a 6-turn fight that we got it in 5-turn with that crit. That's unfortunate. But still saved a turn. Alright. There is a potion on the body of this giant that I'm going to grab just to be safe. Then we got our potions minigame, which is a game of mastermind, basically. I am going to save, just to be safe. So I'm just going to focus on this. Oh, crap. There we go. I could have got that one turn sooner than I did, but yeah, basically that's just a game of mastermind. The reason why I saved there is if we had gotten like the worst possible outcome, we could have used the max amount of attempts, which would have failed the challenge, and the failing the challenge doesn't have us restart the challenge. It has us restart from the beginning with Devil Snare. So I would much rather reload there. Yeah, definitely remember Mastermind in the books. Alright, we're at our last 2 fights here, so time is coming up pretty soon. We're going to fight Quirrell on its own, and then Voldemort separate. Now we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to paralyze Quirrell, and then we're going to use our poison spell 3 times. Poison stacks each casting, and also when you cast poison on paralyzed enemy, it does not unparalyze it, because you did not use an attack-based spell. Quirrell just broke out of paralyzation naturally there. It was not caused by my spell. So we're going to do it there so that he loses 40 each turn. Ah, wow, it broke out again. That's really unlucky. Now, we're going to use an item. And we're going to enemy attack skip repeatedly, which stacks the damage without anybody taking a turn, and Quirrell's dead. And we're going to do the same thing for Voldemort here. What's our health looking like? Oh, our health's great. So we're actually going to poison once for Voldemort first here. The reason why we don't do that for Quirrell is because Quirrell, if we give Quirrell a chance to cast one spell, he can also poison us. So if he poisons us and we do that enemy attack skip, we would also stack the damage on ourselves as well. But man, they're both breaking out a lot. All right, get ready on time, by the way. And time. All right, not too bad. A 116. 116 is not terrible. So this has been Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for Game Boy Color. One thing I will point out here in the post game, since we finished a little bit underestimate, so we do have a small chance in the run for us, despite getting our cheater points from Dumbledore here, we can actually still lose the House Cup. It's completely contingent on a skip that we did in the run after we did lighting the first time. We entered the Astronomy Tower, but we entered it by hugging the wall to the door, which skips a cutscene with Malfoy and McGonagall, where McGonagall catches Malfoy and takes points away from Slytherin for him sneaking out. If we see those points be taken from Slytherin, then it is almost certain that Ravenclaw will win the House Cup, actually, because it creates an RNG sequence that causes, a difference in points than what we normally see. But because we skip that, we avoid the RNG altogether, we get the points, it guarantees the victory. As long as we hit that trick, it guarantees that Gryffindor wins. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Like I said, this is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for Game Boy Color. An excellent run, really easy to get into. So please join the Harry Potter handheld Discord. If you're looking for that link, feel free to message me personally. You can whisper me on Twitch. I'm twitch.tv/KonceptioN2, where you can find me on Discord as well at that same name, KonceptioN2. I'll be happy to give you the links, or visit our speedrun.com page for our new guide and our new video in order to get started here. I cannot recommend this game enough. I really love it, and I want to get some more runners in here. If you're still up and hanging with us, please stick around for some more fun Harry Potter action. And thank you to Potterthon for having me on. I appreciate it. Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Conception.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Hey. Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. Went okay.
Yeah, so coming up next, we have HP4 100% by Mylan. Stick around for that. Thank you very much, Conception, for your run.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, definitely stick around for that. That is a nice run.